Hello and welcome to the Daily Forex Report for October 25th. We are looking at the the pound US dollar pair. You can see we have a trend line drawn already on the chart. You can see that today we pretty much tagged one of the highs. It's been touched several times. There's two ways to play this. I think it's going to continue to reverse to the downside and move lower. Let me zoom in a little bit and we can take a better look at this. So if we get a tag to the upside, look for it basically to touch this trend line. Currently that would be right around the 161.36 mark. Then look for it to take out the low currently at 161.10 and look for it to drop down to about 63 pips down to 160.46. So that's what I'm looking for to happen during this next session. Not sure if it will. Remember, I am looking for it to touch this line prior to taking this short. If it does that, let's say it moves up higher from there, basically putting a stop loss right above that line if it touches it and then moves lower. So risking 26 or 27 to make 63 is what we're looking for during this time. The only thing really you got to worry about on this one is that we are going through a 0-0 level. It'd be the 160-100 mark that we're going through. So that's the only real risk on this one. If it moves up, tags that trend line, and the resistance holds, and then it moves lower, sell off of the move to the downside and look for it to even drop 50 to 60 pips from there. Okay, as far as news analysis, tomorrow we have at 8:30 a.m. Eastern the U.S. gross domestic product being released. That's annualized. Consensus on that is that it has moved from 1.3% up to 1.9%. And for the third quarter, non-annualized, looking for an increase from 1.6 up to 2.1%. If either one of those numbers comes out positive, more positive than they're showing, could be really good news for the U.S. dollar. See a U.S. dollar surge, so just keep that in mind. Which, by the way, would give us better odds for this moving to the downside. So that would be in our favor. At 9:55 a.m. Eastern, we have the U.S. University of Michigan's confidence report for October being released. Consensus on that is that it's dropped slightly, just a little bit, from 83.1 just to 83. Okay, now as far as looking at what I think these pairs are going to do from a range perspective over the next session. Looking at the U.S. Swiss, potentially going up to 80.82, possibly down to 79.48. Look for some resistance to the upside around 80.50 and look for some support around 80.00. Now the Euro USD pair surged to the downside, closed lower. Look for it to potentially go up to 130.78. Possibly down to 128.35. Look for some resistance at 13,000 and look for some support around 129.15. Now the U.S. Swiss, this pair closed higher during this last session. Look for it to potentially go as high as 162.29, possibly down to 159.79. Look for some resistance to the upside around 161.50. and look for some support around 160.50. Now the U.S. Swiss, this pair closed higher, had a very strong move to the downside prior to reversing and closing up. Look for it to potentially go as high as 0.9420, possibly as low as 0.9249. Look for some resistance around 0.9375. and look for some support around 0.9275. Well, that pretty much wraps us up for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.